it's the crew.
Yo, what's poppin', Crew Nation? You already know who it is, what it is, and what we do, baby. It is your boy Jay, and today we talking about the GOAT. Welcome to episode 7 of Loving Christian Hip Hop. You know, I'm really starting to like this new Paris Caris. One of the things, we've been following Paris Caris. Me and my brother have been following Paris since he's gotten his start within the Christian hip-hop ranks around about 2015. We started this journey of doing Christian hip-hop media in 2014, ran to a show in Oklahoma City in 2015 where we were covering a group known as Die Daily. Shouts out to Caden, Sean C. Johnson, and all of those boys out there. Dylan Chase as well, super legend within the space. And we were at this show and we saw Paris Caris, and Paris Caris performed. And one of the things that we loved was there was about maybe 30 people at this show. But Paris and his entourage, when Paris performed, you would have thought that Paris was performing in front of thousands and thousands of people within an arena. We were at this small kind of like coffee shop, bistro type situation, and the energy that he gave while on stage just floored us. And we were like, yo, like, this is crazy. There's nobody here. And most artists, if you're an artist, you understand this. Most artists feed off of the crowd participation. But what he did was he had about 4 or 5 of his brothers with him, and they were hyping him up on stage, and he utilized that energy. And so it was like he was a professional. And from that moment, we followed him, and we have been raving about Paris ever since. So way before he became Big Wave P, right? But one of the things that he had always done was he made sure to watch what he did, and he made sure to watch how he spoke in certain interviews, and he made sure to be everything that this space kind of expected of an artist to be for a little bit. The older he got, the more he saw what went on behind the scenes, the more he saw what went on between the fans and the artists. He started to do what most of these artists do, and that was come more into his own and become more of himself. But he still had a certain level of restraint about him. But this new Paris, I'm starting to like this new Paris. We have been here, I want to say over the past 6 months, he's kind of coming into the Paris that I always knew that he could be. If you pay attention to Paris at all, he is the type of person, he doesn't fit in any box. He does Christian hip hop music, but his music doesn't play just in Christian hip hop arenas. His music plays everywhere. He gets invited everywhere where there may not be a single Christian in the building. Honestly, that can't be true, but there may not be a single Christian in the building, or this isn't where Christians typically hang out or kick it, yet they are playing his music, and his music resonates with not just the Christians in the building, but also with those that don't claim the particular lifestyle or otherwise wouldn't publicly say that they claim that lifestyle. And this is what makes Paris special. This is the reason why this was another reason or another thing that kind of drew us to Paris, because his music was different than what we were hearing, yet he was a Christian hip hop artist, and he did it in a way that was different. So shouts out to Paris. But this new P, he's speaking what's on his mind. He's not allowing the fans or those that claim to be OGs to stop him from speaking his mind or saying what's on his chest, right? He's been in his bag lately. You know, he talked about Christian rappers taking advantage of Christian listeners.
The reason why I disagree with that too is because I feel like a lot of some Christian artists take advantage of Christian listeners because Christian listeners don't listen to that music.
That's a fact too.
So they derive things from the artist that you're talking
That's
about.
a fact too,
And
yeah.
they may be a little bit more talented, be better lyricists, whatever, but they take from those artists and then bring it to Christian hip hop and mask it.
And
or
Christian
disguise
rap
it.
fans don't
And
know.
Christian rap fans, it ain't about the artist, it's about the rap fans.
Yeah.
The rap fans don't know.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you kind of taking advantage of the listeners and they think you're this great artist. And then on the flip side, you turn around and say, don't listen to Christian artists. I mean, don't listen to secular music. But it's like,
Sounds like a conflict of interest.
Which was spot on. He also went from saying jiggers to now saying niggas. P, we've been waiting on this. And when you are an artist as good as Paris Career is, you are not able to listen to music the same as the average listener. When you listen to music, you tend to pick it apart. When you listen to music, you tend to pay attention to things that other people don't pay attention to because you are trying to hone your craft, or you don't even know how to listen to music regularly. Like, especially if you are a rapper. If you are a rapper, the only thing that you can do is listen to something outside of your genre in order to kind of take you away, or listen to music the way that a regular listener would listen to. So you would listen to Taylor Swift, or you would listen to Jason Aldean, or you know what I'm saying? You would listen to Aerosmith. Like you would listen to music that's very far out of your genre. I love the Pentatonics, by the way. They're fire. You would listen to music way outside of your genre because when you listen to your genre of music and the music that you are a professional in, you listen to it with a very critical ear. This is the reason why I love hip hop. I listen to a lot of R&B and hip hop, but when I want to just get taken away or out of my element and not work, I listen to genres outside of hip hop and R&B because I listen with a critical ear, right? We're always pushing the news, right? So if you all have been under a rock lately, the GOAT Lecrae just recently dropped a song with Miles Minnick. And this record is a bop, like most Miles Minnick records are. And Lecrae, as he typically did, this is a West Coast track. Lecrae loves West Coast music. He's actually supposed to be dropping a West Coast tape. We know that the West Coast is part of his roots, part of his upbringing. And so when he raps on West Coast vibes, it tends to bring out a different version of the GOAT. And it's a version that we all know and love. Sometimes Cray forgets that he's been doing this for a long time, and people love to break down his lyrics or love to really pay attention to what he's talking about. So they go, shouts out to Miles. He made this record with Cray. Phenomenal record. Made a record with Bizzle. Phenomenal record. This is a guy that knows how to handle himself when he is around greatness within the space, when he is around legends within the space. He just does what he's supposed to do. He sits in the pocket and he just makes good music. It's up to the legends to know where they are and kind of know what they're doing, right? Because Miles can just sit back and say, hey, we got a record together. I'm going to just do what I always do. You do what you do. And as this song dropped, everybody's like, oh, this song is so great. Oh, this is so fire. 50,000 views on YouTube within 5 days. Like it's going bananas. And Paris Career said, this is how I know y'all don't be listening. It's because no one really heard what Cray was saying. His verse on Miles Minnick's song, he was talking to somebody. Now look. To be fair, to be fair, because of the type of music that Miles makes, his Bay Area music, his dance music, yeah, you kind of allow the lyrics to kind of drown out into the beat, right? After you listen to it several different times, then maybe you will go and pick up on some lyrics. Me personally, that's just how I listen to music in general. If I'm going through a project, the first thing I do is I'll listen to it fully through, all the way through. If a record catches my ear by the beat or the production, I will replay that song 2 or 3 times and then move on to the rest of the record. I did this when I was listening to the TLS record. But when I ran across Strange Fruit, I played it back. Ran across Free Flow, played it back. And, you know, after you find that's what you do, right? And then finally you were like, okay, let me finish the record. And then after that, I go back and I'll just play my favorite records again. And as I'm playing my favorite records, I start to listen to the words. And that is when, after about the 3rd or 4th listen, that is when I will listen to the words and I will catch what an artist is saying. And I'm like, yo, they said that? So, to Paris's credit, upon first listen, no, I didn't really pay attention to what Cray said. But after Paris said what he said, I'm like, you know what? Let me go and find out what he's saying. I actually know the exact part that he was speaking on. So I immediately go to that part and I say, Gold, you didn't have to do that.
This. I'ma pull my rank, I'ma bet he ain't. Lead a movement for a decade before you see my planks. Make your little Rose and Millie before you get to acting silly. Turn a deal into a dilly before you speak my name. I've been stepped on, I've been priced out. Preach God at the White House. Show rap what Christ bout, and they still wanna turn my lights out, boy. Now you know I used to teach what you learning, but go on do it big with your sermon. I'm rooting for you.
What are we speaking about here? Now, this is particularly interesting because if you guys remember, about a month ago, there was a conversation where a particular artist that I really hate to talk about, but because he's so straightforward in what he says, this happens, right? This happens. Anybody that comes in Christian hip hop, very radical about their stance and the way that they make music, they're always going to be on the receiving end of some sort of backlash. And it sucks for Goat Lecrae because he is always the one that gets attacked in these situations because a lot of people don't understand the way that he moves. So there was this conversation that happened, and the artist that we're speaking of right now is Caleb Gordon. And Caleb Gordon said that his song with Ty Dolla $ign said or was not Christian. And that brought back a lot of people on both sides going back and forth. People saying, hey, thank you for finally saying this. You're right. And then you had other people saying, hey, yo, Cray been doing this forever. You don't know what you're talking about. He said certain things in the record that makes it Christian. And I thought that this conversation had died down until we heard the GOAT speak. And at that point, everybody's like, oh, he's talking about Caleb. He's talking about Caleb. Look. I don't know who he was talking about, but it is a bit interesting that this is how we chose to approach this record shortly after this statement or comment against you was made, and this is the connection that the people decided to put together. Now, y'all know we real. We keep it 1,000. We gonna be the first to defend Cray, but because of our style of media, we are no respecter of persons. Nobody gets preferential treatment when it goes to reporting. This is the reason why people like us. And so most people would allow this to kind of be swept under the rug. And actually, I was okay with just posting the information and allowing the public to decide. But it wasn't until Cray decided to explain his lyrics, and I said, Goat, there's gotta be something there. Because you posted and explained your lyrics, and then somebody tapped Goat on the shoulder, or somebody, he stepped away for a second. I was like, you know what? It ain't even worth it. But y'all know how fast the media moves. So we have what he said. And he says, listen, pull my rank. Paul had to let Philman and Timothy know, I've helped you out. Please respect what I've done for you. Lead a movement for a decade for you see my planks. Be considerate of all that comes with being the face of a genre before being overly critical. It was tough. Make your little bros a milli. Don't be overly concerned with my moves. Help others get on and grow. I love to help the new artists, not shit on them. I've known No Big Deal when he was dealing, helping me on tour. I've supported him since. Do the same. Support. Don't tear down. I've been stepped on, priced out, preached God at the White House, showed the mainstream rap what Christ bout, and yet people still want to turn my lights out. Cray preaching right now. We don't need more tearing down in public. We need more support. It takes character to build, learn, and grow with each other. It takes nothing to tear each other down. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's good. Good. Hey, you explained it. You didn't say that you was... See, the crazy part about this is he didn't go around and say, I ain't talking about nobody. I just said blah, 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 and didn't explain. No. He just immediately went into explaining what the lyrics meant, and that was okay. The Goat came, the Goat spoke, and the Goat left. But didn't I tell you guys I'm starting to like this new Paris a bit more? Paris went through, and he was like, yeah, okay, like, cool story. Like I get it. Yeah, you definitely gave him the word. But there were two parts in this record where it's like, yeah, you giving him the word, but it became a bit personal.
I'ma pull my rank, I'ma bet he ain't. Now you know I used to teach what you learning, but go on do it big with your sermon. I'm rooting for you.
Shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Chris is like, yeah, hey, look. Yeah, I get it. I caught that too. Like, you gave him the word, but you also made this kind of personal. Paraphrasing. I like this new pair. He ain't letting nobody get away with anything. And this is what I said. This is what happens when you are professional and you are listening with a critical ear. I've never seen, or somebody help me out with that. I don't remember Cray being this direct before, but I just believe that he's had a bit of enough. These things constantly happen. We asked him about his beef with Shailene. He was very direct about that. And let me just say, some people would say it's not beef, but hey, it is what it is. He was very direct about that. And now he's being semi-direct about that. So when I saw Paris said, I thought it was hilarious. It was hilarious because I'm like, Paris is like, yeah, I hear you, but you didn't explain these bars that were very straight and direct. And it was funny, haha, kiki, and then that was the end of it. But then when I tried to go back to the post and make sure that I saw what I saw, the post had been deleted. Oh, go. Go, we gotta have a conversation. Go, we gotta talk. Wait a minute. Because if this was not directed towards somebody specifically, then I believe that post explaining what he was saying would still be there. And he even chose to try to throw everybody off the set and say, yo, I'm talking about Few. We knew we wasn't talking about Few. That's his boy. Few the only one that can really bring out that street and Cray. Few has the power to bring something out of Cray that nobody other than Caleb Gordon can bring. But once the post was deleted, I'm like, okay, all right. I wasn't going to do it, but now we got to talk about it. Now we have to have a conversation because obviously there's something there. We are just humble vessels doing the Lord's work. Why don't you all let me know what you all think? Hit that like button, hit that red subscribe button, put it in the comments. I believe he was talking about Caleb. Everybody seems to believe he was talking about Caleb. He's probably going to come out and say he was not talking about Caleb. But that message was very direct. It is what it is. Cray's still my GOAT. Cray is still the GOAT of CHH. I like this, Cray. I'ma just keep it 1,000. Make a milli for a dilly before you speak my name. But go and do it big with your sermon. I'm rooting for you. And that's on.